Pleasant good morning. My name is Priscilla Liebert Calder, and on behalf of our director, Dr. Tendai Ndoro, I would like to welcome you to our webinar this morning on techniques to establish business credit. For those of you who are not familiar with the SBDC, which stands for Small Business Development Center, we are a resource center for the United States Small Business Administration. I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. I'm so sorry. Yes, we are a resource center for the Small Business Administration, and we are the premier provider of one-on-one business consulting and training services for established small businesses and entrepreneurs across New Jersey, particularly those that reside in Essex County, New Jersey. We are one of 12 centers in the NJSBDC network, each center being responsible for one or multiple county, ours being Essex County. Our business is hosted by the Rutgers Business School and is sponsored by a partnership agreement between the SBA, Rutgers University, and the New Jersey Business Action Center. The objective of the SBDC is to help small business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their small businesses. And we do this in two ways. One, we provide a no-cost, confidential one-on-one business consulting to help you either start or grow your business. This can be in areas such as marketing, accessing capital, import-export, federal contracting, credit repair, such as today's workshop that you're attending. Whatever area you need help in, we have a consultant that will have an expertise in that area that will sit with you and advise you on next steps for your business. The other way is we provide training services such as webinars and workshops, such as today's webinar on establishing your business credit. To take advantage of these services, you simply need to just visit our website at www.rnsbdc.com. That's RN for Rutgers-Newark, SBDC.com. And in the header of our website, click on the button that says Request Counseling and fill out the form. Once you receive your request, a counselor or consultant is assigned to you in the area in which you requested help in, and they will reach out to you for an assessment or for your one-on-one session. You must be able to follow through on their recommendation or some of their recommendation before you are allowed future follow-on sessions. Okay, so for those that are attending to today's presentation, please note that audio has been muted. So if you have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat or the Q&A section, and we will answer your questions as we go along or at the end of the presentation. A copy of today's slides, along with a video recording of today's webinar, will be sent out within 24 to 48 hours. For those on today's webinar who need further assistance with whether credit restoration, building their personal credit or business credit, please feel free to reach out to us after the webinar to have your one-on-one with a counselor or with Carmen or whoever is set up to do that at the end. So we look forward to seeing your request for counseling on our website. So it's now my pleasure to turn today's webinar presentation over to Carmen. Carmen is the CEO and founder of Business Mastery Consulting Services, as well as Niviari and Associates. She's one of our senior consultants here at the NJSBDC at Rutgers-Newark, who helps clients in the areas of import-export, credit counseling, as well as some various other services in which she'll talk about as we progress in today's webinar. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Carmen.
Okay, how's everyone doing? My name is, as Priscilla said, my name is Carmen Morris. Welcome to the Techniques to Establishing Business Credit. As Priscilla was telling you, so that we're not complete strangers, I have been in business a little bit over 35 years. The area that we are going to be discussing today, which is a very important area for small businesses, I started about 25 years when I came across some difficulties in my own business. So by all means, the information you're going to be receiving today, please don't take it as legal advice. I'm just going to be sharing personal experience and experiences that hundreds of clients have already applied to their own businesses. So we're going to be, let me see if I can get to the next slide. Oh, there we go. I just want to make sure that everyone sees my screen. So today we're going to be discussing what is business credit. This may sound a little basic to everyone, but we will be discussing this because 90% of small businesses don't even know what to do and what is business credit and how important it is to the business. So we're also going to be discussing the process of how to build a strong business, consumer credit versus consumer basis your business credit, which is a little different. These most people use their personal information when trying to build their business credit. We're going to talk about the steps to establishing the strong credit for your business, understanding the scores, which is also different than consumer, and how you get rated in terms of the techniques that you can apply to increase this rating. Also creating trade lines and what are trade lines, and we're going to go through various vendors that can help you start this. The three major credit agencies that rule the business area. All the how to work with these vendors and establish credit, and even how you can separate your personal credit from your business credit. So let's just get right into it. I'm having a little difficulty with my screen. There you go. So let's get into it. What is business credit? This is the ability of obtaining credit in the name of your business, using your tax ID number and not your social security number. Your tax ID number, your EIN number, is the employer information, employer identification number for your business. This is the social security for your business. So the main thing that you need to do is to establish business credit. It's doing everything that has to do with credit under this ID number. So basically, your business credit score is rated under this number, and for your business, the rating goes from 100, from one to 100. With 75, or sometimes you can take it as slow at 65, but when you take it as 75, this is what it means, that you have a perfect credit score for your business. It's not like the FICO scores that go from the 300 to the 800. This is a little different, and I'm going to discuss how these numbers are calculated and how these numbers are figured out. So in order for you to get to these numbers, you start with creating trade lines, credit trade lines for your business. And how do you start? You start with the vendors who report to the three major credit bureaus or credit agencies that report to the Dun & Brad and all the other agencies. These numbers are calculated from your bank's rating. So we're going to talk about how your bank, how important it is that you maintain a healthy bank statement or bank account with your business bank, with the bank whom you do business with. So the credit cards that you have under your business name, we're also going to discuss how important it is and how these numbers can go from jump from 1 to even 50 or 40 in a matter of 30 to 60 days. So when you're creating these credit trade lines, remember, vendors that offer you credit, these are vendors that offer you credit at 30, 60, or 90 days. Then the banks whom you have credit lines or credit cards. So in order for you to get your credit report for your business, you can start, or even knowing if you're already in business, and even to know if you have a credit history already, you can go to smartbusinesscreditreport.com. You can go to, I'm sure that Priscilla is going to provide you with this information in the PDF file on this presentation, so you can have all this information and go. Most businesses don't even know that they already have a credit history or a credit profile with some of the credit agencies that are reporting. Chances are that if you have a DMB number, a Johnson Brett number, and I'm going to talk to you how to obtain one, chances are that if you already have that number, you already have a profile. The reason I discuss this is because it took me about 10 years into my business, and I needed a bank loan, and I didn't even know that I didn't need to use my personal information. So I was forced at that time to find out how to establish business credit. And this is the information that I'm going to continue to share with you. So how do you get started? The first thing is that you must have a business registered in the state in which you are operating. It must be registered with the local authorities. And let me be very clear with this one, because many people register the businesses and they are in business many years, and they don't file that yearly report that the state requires you. So that is very important, because that's one thing that lenders and vendors, before they offer you credit, they look at that in order to see if you are in good standing with the state in which you're doing business. So that yearly report that is sent to you every year, if you are already in business, make sure you pay attention to that, because the first thing in the profile that is looked at is if you are in good standing with your local authorities. Get a tax ID number, which now once you register your business, it gives you the ability to go ahead and get that number from the IRS. Your company telephone number. Let me speak about this one, because a lot of people says, oh, well, but I use my cell phone number for my business. That's fine. You can use your cell phone number, but make sure that you are registered or listed with either Verizon or AT&T, listed in some type of publication or listed as business. Because if you're not, then the vendors and the lenders look at this and they don't look at you as being legitimate. Your professional website, domain name and logo, make sure you need to have this. And this is a profile. All this information goes into your credit profile with when you get a DMB number, a Duns and Bradstreet's number. And I'm going to explain to you, for those of you who don't know what that is, but for those of you who already have this number, you have to make sure that all this information that I'm going to cover here, it's in your profile, because it's the place where you get started to creating a strong business credit profile. Business bank accounts, professional email. Let me just cover the professional email before that, because a lot of people use Gmail accounts and other personal accounts. This is a no-no. when you are creating a strong credit profile for lenders to look at, for banks to look at, or credit card banks that are going to issue it to you, you need to have a professional email. They look at all this information as not being legitimate when you're using your Gmail account. And plus, it doesn't look professional. Now, your business bank account, this is an area where you get rated. A lot of people open banks account, business account with banks, and then they close it, and then they go to another account and open another business account. This is negative. This is a negative information that goes into your credit because you get rated. And guess what? They even know how your cash flow situation based on the deposit and withdrawal and how you manage your bank account. So one of the things that are very important in your credit profile, and if you want to increase your business credit, is that you have to be very careful how you manage your bank and how you handle the cash that comes in and out. And I'm going to, once we go forward on this presentation, I'm going to discuss with you things that you can do to increase that number very high right away just by using your business bank account. New licenses and that are required. The reason this is important is because some lenders and some creditors, for instance, I do business internationally, and if there are some products that I am exporting somewhere that need licenses and that are required, and I don't have these things, all these goes on record. Anytime I get penalized or anytime something happened or a problem happens, the banks that I'm doing business and that are issuing the funds, they look at these things. So if you are doing business, even locally, and you know that you need licenses and that you're not getting fined because you're not up to date with your licenses, this is in your profile, they also rate you on that. Now, also your business address. But let me just talk to you also. Let's go back to number 6 for your business bank account, because I want to cover this. Even if you are in business 25 years, if your business does not have a business bank account, that means to the lenders, you're not in business. So when they're rating you for the amount of time that you are in business, they look at your business account. So I just needed to, because many people have a tax ID number and they're doing business for 10, 15 years. I have come across this information that I'm covering with you with many clients. They have a home-based business and they've been in business many years. So now the business is like the next level. And now they need working capital. And now they're going to the bank and they're saying, oh, I'm in business 20 something years, but you're not, because your bank account is only like 2 or 3 years old. Because at this point, maybe the person was just using their personal information or their personal bank account. The easiest thing to do is that the minute you register your business is for you to go with that certificate of formation and your information to the bank and open that bank account. Because to the lenders or to anyone that is issuing you credit, you're not in business until you open that business bank account. Your business address should be the same on all of your documents. This is also important, and this is one thing that even now with what's going on in the pandemic, and most lenders and most lenders know that everything is being done virtually. Even like that now, they still look at the address and that your address is listed as a business address. But if you are a home-based business, it's okay, because it's not a problem. There's ways that you can create a profile and look like you are somewhere in or a virtual office, and I'm going to give you those options in a minute on things that you can do to make sure that you can look in a certain way, very professional, to your to the creditors or anyone that you're trying to obtain credit from. So I created this little credibility list that you can go and look at. And whenever you're creating the profile, you can look at all these things and just make sure that everything is covered. You can have when it comes to a local number or an 800 number, this is very simple right now. You can also have a number in which you can just forward to your cell phone if you're just a very small business and have a very small operation in which you don't need these sophisticated 2 or 3 lines. So I know that Verizon and AT&T offer what is called Express, and they list your number. If you wish to use your number, they list it as on business listings. And this is what lenders and vendors look for when every time they're looking at your profile. So let's look at the red flags and let's talk about the addresses and how to get by saying, oh, well, Carmen, I'm a home-based business. So how can what else can I do if I cannot use all these things that you're going to mention here right now? Well, lenders don't like to lend to home-based businesses. And it has always been like that. So the options that you have is you can use a virtual office. I'm not particularly endorsing Regis here, but I use them in like 30 countries. So the reason I mention them is because to me is inexpensive, and you can have what is called a virtual office, and you can even have a dedicated phone number, business numbers. You can use incubators. You can use shared space. This is one thing that if you're a very small business, and it's not going to affect you too much with the overhead. Never use a personal mailbox. And I'm going to explain why. So right now, there's a lot of spaces that are going to be open, especially with what we're facing today with this pandemic. You can ask someone to share space with you, or to even someone who already has an office and has an address that you can go ahead and use it as your business address. And it's called, you're just sharing the space. So you can have an agreement with someone and say, okay, which is this, okay, so let's just go ahead and you pay me this amount of money a month, and I can use I can use this address as my business address, and we can share, which is the same that Regis does. They just, if it's a virtual office, you don't have to have a physical office. You can just use their mailbox, you can use their address, their phone number, even the secretary, whatever package you like to take. And it's as little as like $90-something a month. So whatever it is that you want to add, but it is very important. For instance, I have an address in New York that I also use, and is from an office. And I also meet people there, any clients that are coming from overseas, and sometimes they just want to meet up in New York. I also use it. But when you're looking at the business address, make sure that it's a physical address, and do not use a mailbox, a personal mailbox. This is why I don't recommend that you use UPS. They rent it to you, and it's fine, but vendors and lenders look at that, because they see you as you can go ahead and disappear at any time. Your professional email should be whatever in front of the ad, or your businessname.com. This is where your domain name comes in. And many of the domain places that you buy your domain name, they offer you free small packages of emails. So it even comes with the domain. So this is something that you should, if you are using your Gmail or your Yahoo account, you should just go ahead and register a domain, and so so that your business can start looking professional. Stay away from establishing the organization as a sole proprietorship, because this is how vendors and lenders see and think, okay, well, this person is probably a home-based business or very small, or you're not. You have to have your tax ID number. You're not, also, if you're if you get yourself as a partnership, it's okay that you have a partnership. Many large organizations have partnerships and there's many partners. So at this point, lenders see, well, okay, there's a large asset or cash or that is invested into this organization. But if you're just a few people or two people that are just starting a business, partnerships will tie you up right away with your personal information and your personal guarantee. Because anytime you go to a bank and you have partners that are involved and you're seeking for financials, both partners have to present their personal finances, especially if the business doesn't have a big cash flow every month, or it's just someone that is just starting. So partnerships are not recommended. Also, doing business as DBAs. DBAs are not recommended because a lot of companies try to shelter under different names, and to avoid the confusion, banks don't like to deal with DBAs unless you are already established business that been around a long time and you want to do business under, you have expanded your business, and because of marketing purposes, you want to do business under another name other than the name that is registered with the state local authorities. But unless that is happening, you should stop and you should avoid DBAs or submitting an application for credit with any vendor with DBA. So this is how you start building.
Carmen, I don't think we're hearing you.
The credit. You have to remember for, hello?
Yeah, you went out for.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So let me know, Priscilla, if you can hear me. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, you
what
just
was,
went out for a little bit. You just went out for a few seconds, not long. Just start your slide again. Mhm. Hello? For some reason, we're not hearing you, Carmen. Can any one of the participants please indicate if you can hear Carmen, because I'm not hearing her. Okay, yes. Yeah, Carmen, I don't, okay, she's disconnected. Okay, just bear with us. She'll reconnect to the presentation. Carmen.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now? I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got kicked out or what happened.
Yeah, you just came back in, so you're good. We can see your screen and we can hear you now.
Okay, please let me know. This is the last slide that you heard, building.
Yeah, you went out at the beginning of this slide, so we're all good. Can anyone confirm that you're hearing her? I can hear her as well now. Okay, good. Everyone, yes, they're hearing you now.
I apologize. I don't know what happened to my internet. But anyway, as I was saying, when building the foundation, you look at consumer credit versus business credit. In consumer credit, this is how you start. You start with a secure credit card, you're building up the blocks, then you get a small credit limit with any credit card, and then you go to a car loan or mortgage. You do not apply for a mortgage until you have some kind of credit trades on your credit report. So the same is with business credit. Only that is there's a little difference that you start with the vendor account. And I mentioned these two, Uline and Quill, because I've used them many times for many clients to start building their credit. These are the one, and I'm going to be giving you a listing of more vendors that you can go ahead and use, and then you can do your own search and come up with some vendors that you can that provide the services and material that you use for your business, and you can use the same process and the same steps that I'm going to share with you. So in business, you start with the vendors. Then you go to a business credit card, a revolving account with any bank. It could be it could be your own business bank, or it could be any bank. It doesn't matter. And then you go to a car loan or a mortgage. You don't go apply for a car under your business or a mortgage, or try to purchase a building for your business until you have all the other ones covered. Especially the vendor's account is the first thing that you start with. So it's like you're building the blocks. You start with one thing. It's three very simple steps of how to do it. Let's see if I can. Okay, there you go. So, and why am I trying to tell you, why am I telling you to try to avoid personal guarantees? Because anytime, even if you have an LRC that offers you the less liability as a form of organizational structure, you're still liable if you tie your company's name to your personal name, because your personal guarantee, you're saying, okay, if my business doesn't pay, then I'm going to pay. And if you start from the beginning, it's very difficult to detach yourself. It'll take you a few years to detach yourself if you already have yourself as a personal guarantee for your business. And what that means is that anytime you apply for a credit card or anything that has to do with your business, is you use your social security number also in your personal financials. So in order to avoid this, the main thing is that you have to create the trade lines. And this is how you do it. The first thing that you do is you go and create a profile and get a Duns and Bradstreet number. This is a number that you can get for free. This is the most widely used in any industry in business. In fact, there are some government platforms that require you to have this number. If not, you cannot do business with the government. So, and it's very simple to obtain. And this is the way that you avoid the personal guarantee. You start to have your business stand on itself. Let me just tell you, it took me, as I said in the beginning, it took me about 10 years to really see how much I needed my business credit. I didn't even know what business credit was. And I was in business all these years. And let me just tell you, this was back in the early 90s. Of course, back then, we dealt more with cash and letters of credit. So credit was important, but it's not as important as it is now. So this number, you can go to www.dnb.com. They are going to offer you a lot of things. This is a free service. You don't need to buy anything. That is up to you. If you want to pay them for them to do certain things, they're going to offer you a lot of things because that's their business. But you can get this free number, and that is the way where you start. This is where you start creating your business profile. Remember all the information I cover in the beginning? I told you about the addresses, the telephone numbers, the email. Make sure you get all those things in place before you go and create that profile. If you have already a profile, with many small businesses do, but they don't look at, okay, let me see what's on my credit. Make sure with that number, you go pull your credit and find out what's in it right now. For instance, about 15 years ago, I had a FedEx put some information from a delivery and a shipment from India that I never even knew who the company was, because there's a lot of scammers out there that they can take your information and use it for their own benefit. So you have to go and see that if you are already in business and you have this number, go get that report and look at it and see what's in there. because just like like it is in your personal information and consumer information, you can always argue it and debate whether it's yours or not and get it taken off. So Dun and Brad, this is the one that is most widely used. It's like anytime anybody needs information on your business or anything, this is where they go. So another one is Experian Business. This, they will assign you what is called a BIN number. This is the second largest credit reporting agency. You must have at least one vendor already in your DMB report or in your credit report before they can even issue you this number. So, and it gets a little more harder in terms of requirement in the business with all these agencies, because Equifax, they use a lot. This is what is used for a lot of cash lenders. And this is, if you are a small business, this is the one that you need to also pay attention to, because they use bank ratings to give you these numbers. So, and remember when I said in the beginning that your banking information is very, very important, because the banks rate you depending on your cash flow. For instance, they go from 1 to 5. This is what the banks do. They rate you and say, okay, so you maintain a balance of $100 to $900. So they'll give you a 1. So the higher you going number, it goes all the way up to 6. So the higher you going in the amount of cash that you have available to you, the banks will rate you on that. But not only that, and let me just tell you a way that you can do and increase this number to get a good bank rating with your bank. If you have, which is a way for you to create a trade line and a way for you to increase your business credit. If you have, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000 or $16,000 in your bank account, in your business bank account, you can go ahead and take a business loan or what they call an express loan based on or open a CD with that money and then obtain a loan from the bank. But this is something that I recommend. I recommend this to clients, and I've done it many times. The bank is still, the money is in a CD, and the bank, and then you go ahead and apply and have the bank take a loan against that secure deposit. So this is another trick that you can do, and the cash flow is there, and your ratings, your credit ratings will go up because you're creating a trade line already. And Equifax Business is the one that most cash lenders use. Some small lenders go ahead and do the Dun and Brads, and even if you're doing a large purchase or SBA loans or large loans, they also go to the DMB. But Equifax Business is one for you to focus on if you're going for working capital and anything of that nature. Equifax would assign you what is called an EFX ID number. This is a 9-digit number that identifies your business, and it gives them all that information. So these are all the third-party credit bureaus. I think somebody, can I, Priscilla, are there any questions? Let me just stop here for 1 minute. Are there any questions?
There was a few. I think there was a very long-winded one here. Let's see. Stacy says, business address. The address from my NJ registration and federal tax ID is my home address. Is that a problem if I use a shared space as a business address? My business is a child care center. My business partner is my husband, a veteran with great credit, but I have the experience.
Okay, so she has a shared space. She can use the shared space. The only thing is that she has to change everything. And it's about what, $28, Priscilla? Because you know more about that platform than I do. You go make the changes with the state, and that's fine. It's a simple process. You just pay to make the changes. And guys, you remember, you can change these at any time. Any other question?
No, I think, no questions so far.
So other third-party credit bureaus that FD Insight, this one supplies information about liens and judgments to creditors, and this is part of LexisNexis. I don't cover LexisNexis with on this webinar because it's a lot of information and a lot of things that you should know, but you should just Google that data miner and see that they've been following you the minute you hit 18. And they know so much information about you that you'll be surprised how much they know and everything that you do, every movement, every car that you purchase, every even your bank information on your bank. They have a lot of information about you. And the reason I say that this is the FD Insights part of LexisNexis is because these are people that take your information and sell it. And it's a huge business. You have rights in freezing them and getting them to stop reporting this information. But I don't want to, I think there is a webinar on the 16th. Priscilla, is it on the 16th of this month that you can also attend? And I cover more about what these data miners do. But anytime if you have a lien and a judgment with creditors, that information is provided. And also Cortera, this is a commercial credit bureau. This is only for B2B, small businesses. PaidNet, this is the leading provider. This is the leading provider of rating for small businesses with Paychecks and all these other agencies. Also, the one that I want you to pay attention to, also our occurring business, it's also owned by LexisNexis. So you see this, it's mainly owned, it's different names, but on the one big company, these are called data miners. They collect your information from every source, Verizon, anything that you purchase that you put your information, they have it. That I want you to pay attention for the purpose of this webinar and what we're covering today with Establishing Business Credit is to Checks System Inc. This is reporting agency on the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So they are regulated because they cover most of the stuff from the banks. And remember what I said, that the banks rate you, and your business bank account is very, very, very important when it comes to you establishing credit. So let's see the steps to get started, the steps to take. If you take this slide and you follow the information on this slide, you will build your credit. It'll take a few months, but you will build your business credit. I was just, I was talking to a few clients yesterday that are in need of working capital. And this is information that I refer them right away. Get at least 5 or 6 vendors. This is the only, in starting building your business credit, this is where you start. Do not go apply for a credit card, because the minute you apply for a credit card and there are no credit trade lines, they're going to deny you. You're wasting your time. Don't go and purchase a card. However, if you're using your personal information, that's different. But if you're not using your personal information, this is the only way you get started. At least in my past 25 years in doing this, this is the way that it works. A vendor is an account that a creditor extends to you for 60, 30, or 90 days. Now, make sure that the vendors that you are applying with, a vendor could be anyone you purchase supplies from. Make sure that they report to the credit bureaus that report with, so that you can get your credit rating up. Make sure that they are not just any vendors. You can ask them, do you report to the major credit bureaus? Who do you report to? Because some vendors report to one and not to others. So Do not apply for all of these vendors on the same day. Do at least one a week. You can do, I've done 2 a week, but do at least one or no more than 2 a week, because they'll be pulling your information. Some of them do, some of them don't, depending if you have already established a profile with that vendor and you're already doing purchases. For instance, I have clients that do purchases with vendors for 6, 7 months and even a year, and they never apply for the credit. And then when they do apply, they don't even go into, they don't pull their credit or anything. But this is where you start. 5 or 6 vendors. Don't go applying for a credit card or a loan with your bank unless you have at least 5 or 6 vendors. This is a proven method. This is not something I just made up. This is how the industry works. Then at least have 3 revolving accounts. Only apply for these accounts again, and I'm going to say this again, after you have all your vendors' account in place. Revolving line of credits, this is an account where you have a credit limit that you can use and then make payments on a monthly basis. I recommend that if you want to have one revolving account, you start with the first month. If you use, remember that also, just like in your personal credit, you cannot go ahead and use the whole amount on your credit limit and then pay it. Even if you pay it at the end of the month, that shows inconsistency. And even if you pay it off at the end of the month, lenders don't like to see that. So just use at least 35% or 20% ratio on the amount of credit that you have available to you, and then just keep the rest there. But make sure that at least in the beginning, if you're able, pay everything at the end of the month. Then after you have those 3 revolving accounts, then do one bank loan. Remember how I said that in the beginning that you can, if you have a few $1,000s that you can put into your business account, even if you do it as a loan from yourself into your business, you can open a CD, and with this secure deposit, you can go ahead and take a loan against that secure deposit. There's a lot of things that you can do just to get those rating high with the credit bureaus. Keep in mind that some of these accounts take a lot. Sometimes it takes 3 months for them to report. It's not like with the consumer credit that the next month you'll see it right there. That system is not in place for business credit. Some companies are faster than others, but you have to allow them at least 3 months for them to report it to the credit bureaus. So here are some vendors that I recommend or that you can go ahead and get started with. Templars this is a net 30-day report to DMB. Remember I said that you need to make sure that always reporting to the 3 major credit bureaus. And it's a question that you can ask. Because when you're trying to establish credit with some of these vendors, you can call them and ask first before you fill out the application. So this is how you get started. You start by placing an order. And when you place the order, at checkout is going to ask you the form of payment. So you can say open account. And that's how you go ahead. 90% of the time, you'll get approved right away. But this is what I recommend. Buy something small from the company and create your profile, and then just go back and try to purchase something else. And then at that point, when it asks you at checkout, it asks you the form of payment, you select open an account. You do the same with Uline, which also reports to DMB and Experian. So the same process is done with them. Now, UPS also has a net 30, and you can apply online also as well. And so does FedEx. FedEx has also a net 30, and you apply online. But with FedEx, the only difference is that you need both numbers. You need the EIN number and the Duns and Bradstreet number. So if you don't have I've had clients that because they do a lot of shipping from their home, they never had the DMB number, and then they went ahead and they opened the FedEx account. But you can, even if you purchase stuff from FedEx, if you go to the office and purchase just packaging equipment, whatever it is, and the same with UPS, it doesn't cost a lot and it's pretty simple for you to open. So the trade lines, remember, you need to get at least 6. And I'm going to be focusing on this a lot because you can't skip the vendors part. It is the first thing that you do. Focus on that in the next 3 to 6 months. Open all your vendors account. Remember, they must report to all of the major credit bureaus. This is how you can start to lift up your scores and get a great business credit profile with all the bureaus. Now, the revolving accounts, you need at least 3. You can do this in 60 days. All of this in creating the trade lines, you can do it in 60 days. However, you must use your personal guarantee. If you're pressed for time, and remember, the whole goal here is for you to not to use your personal guarantee and to get your business to stand on its own, because once you mix it, it's very hard to separate you from it. So if you want to do this in 60 days, you must have a FICO score of at least 680, no lower than that. And your personal guarantee has to be used in creating that revolving account, like a credit card. Keep in mind, hello? Priscilla, did you say something?
No.
Okay. Keep in mind that your payments, you should make all your payments on time and do your payments in full every month. At least you should do this for the first 9 months that you have the account, because this would establish your numbers to go up. Remember, the numbers go from 1 to 100, with 75 being a perfect score. Do not go to a bank to get a bank loan under your business if your score is not above 65. It'll never happen. The banks, more like the bank is going to deny you, because there's a process and there's a guideline. So I have discussed with you all of the business, how you can get started in establishing your business credit. Remember, getting your legal entity, that means not just a sole proprietorship or just doing business under your social security number and filing your taxes at the end of the year. No, register with the state. We offer the services at the center, and you can look at a calendar, and maybe you can attend, and someone will help you and assist you to do this. If you are already in business, you need to make sure that you are in good standing with the state. So file those yearly report, because they do look into that and they do report this. You remember that data miner that I said to you, they follow you and they look at everything that you do, because they're in the business of reporting negative information. That's how they make their money. So make sure that your yearly reports are filed on time, and make sure that your organization has a legal entity with the state in which you are operating, with your tax ID number, your employer identification number, which is the social security for your credit. Your business address, we discussed about. If you have any questions, I'm going to open it up for questions now. And if you have any other ideas and you say, okay, but I've been doing business from my house for many years. I've run a business operation from home for about 15 years, very successful. So you can make yourself look very professional and create a profile with all the tools that are necessary, and you can go ahead and look very professional to all of the lenders. So open a business bank account. Remember, you're not in business until your business account is open. That's when they start counting. If you are doing business for 20 years and now is that you're opening an account because you've been doing it from your personal account, then your rating is going to be from the day that you opened that account. To the lenders, excuse me, or any creditor is going to be from that day that you opened that account. Get your Duns and Brad's number. It's free. Go to dnb.com. It's free. You don't need to purchase everything that they're going to offer you. You can do that today and start creating the profile. Even if you don't put all the information that you should have to look legitimate, you should start getting that number right away. If you already have that number, most likely you have a credit report. Pull that credit report, see what's in there. If you don't like what's in there, you need to change it and you need to start working on it right away. There's counseling available to you that you can call. As Priscilla said in the beginning, you can go ahead and file a request of counseling, and a counselor will be assigned to you who can assist you also in answering all your questions. Establish credit trade lines with suppliers and vendors. You don't do anything other than that. The first thing you do is you try to get those 5 to 6 credit trade lines with vendors. Even if these people, let me just tell you, even if the vendors don't sell your supplies or something that you need, you know, it's worth paying $30, $50, or whatever it is that you can purchase from them to start establishing that credit. It is very important. It is the only way that you can start. And this is a proven process that I have used for many years. Get a business credit card. Once you get that business credit card, you have to use it responsibly. Remember, the banks rate you and they look at the way that you use your bank account, the payments and everything that goes in and out. And that credit card is tied up to that bank account. So if you get it, never use more than 20 to 30% of the credit limit so that it doesn't have a negative effect on your credit report, on your business credit report. Keep the vendor's payment on time. That is extremely, extremely important, because once one report 30 days late and they don't wait, once they report 30 days late, it is very, very difficult to get it off your credit. It's not like the personal credit report, the consumer credit report. There are laws that are covered and it's easier for you to deal with them. And collection agencies on your business credit is very difficult. So you don't want that to stay there for a long time. So now I'm going to open it to questions and see if anybody has a question.
Stacy has a follow-up. She was the one that asked about the changing of address. She says, after we obtain a building, and I'm assuming the building for her childcare, we will have to change the business address again. Will that look bad?
No, that's fine, because you're purchasing an asset, a real estate. That's fine. That is not a problem.
Okay.
Actually, that would be a positive effect, because if you ever get that question, they won't even ask that question because you already have an asset to the business.
Okay, the next question from Stacy is, after we purchase a CD, what should we do with it?
After you purchase it, look for the amount that you want to go to get a secure loan against the CD. You can talk to your banker. They will work with you.
Another question, is there a list of vendors that report to major credit bureaus?
All of the vendors that I discuss here, they do. And I discussed about 5.
What are your feelings about Walmart or Best Buy for vendor accounts?
That's fine. It's I don't use them because they tend to deny, especially Walmart, because Walmart pulls the credit.
Okay, last question here is, should we get the DMB before we apply? Should we get the DMB before we apply for the vendor account?
Yes, yes, that is the first thing that you do, is get that number, because that is, remember I said that is the major credit reporting agency. That is the one that you want to really get started with. That is the main profile. Remember, that one is the main profile. When you create a business profile on the DMB, it is the major one. It's even used for international, even when you're doing business international. Because you have to remember, some of the other credit reporting agencies require that you already have trade lines before they even issue you a number or a profile. But DMB doesn't. DMB has a platform that you can just go ahead and start from wherever you are.
Okay, we have a question from Wendy. Wendy says, until we secure our building, we have been using our home address. Is this a negative look against our business?
I don't quite get the question. Until she secured, are you purchasing real estate?
Yeah, so she's saying until they secure a building, they have been using their home address. So they're asking, is this a negative?
The home address is a negative. If you can wait until you secure the building and then go ahead and start building your profile, but the home address, it's a negative. If you already had the building and you wanted, like the other lady that asked the question, and you want to change the address to the new address, that's fine, because it's an asset to the business, and it looks like the business have equity on that property. So lenders, that's a positive. That's a positive on your profile. If you are using the home address, do not go and create the profile right now. If you already have the building and you just switching the address to the building, that is a positive. Because anytime you have real estate or a big asset that is attached to the business, that means that there's equity in the business. And lenders like that.
Okay, we have a question from Innocent. She said, so I recently obtained a DUNS number from my company and in the process of purchasing the credit builder offering. What are your thoughts of purchasing the credit builder?
You don't need, do you have credit right now? I don't think you need that, because it is an option. That's if you really want to do that. But I would say to my clients, please don't spend that money. Not yet. Because this is what we're discussing here. They're going to do the same thing that we're talking about here. They're going to recommend and apply for you to apply for the vendors to create trade lines. Then they're going to offer you a lot of things for you to purchase, but I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't do it. This is something very simple that you can do on your own, because you still, even if they are doing something for you, you're still going to have to do your part, which is most of the work.
Okay, we have a question from Frida. Frida asks, can a business profile be created using virtual office address?
Yes, the virtual office address has to have a physical, but you're not saying that it's virtual. Okay, this is what I'm saying. When I said use either share space or Regis or whatever, you're not going to tell them my office is virtual. You're just going to use that information. That whatever, because just because it's virtual, it has to have a physical address. like I said, with the share space and Regis or some of the incubators are offering those services. And now you're going to come across this a lot because a lot of offices have been closed for the last 8 months. With the situation we're facing right now, it's not business as usual. So a lot of things are going to change. But in the meantime, if you're saying it's a virtual office, you know that it's a virtual office to you, but it's not, they don't know that because you're using a physical address, and that's what they want to see. An address that is listed in all of the business publications.
Okay, we have a question again, a follow-up question from Wendy. Wendy was the one that asked about the using her, if it was negative to use the home address. Her question is, all business building steps have been established, done, credit established already since 2 years, and we're looking to secure the building. I guess the building.
When she says secure the building, when is the closing? When is the when is the what day does she think is going to close? When is it, in a few months or what?
Oh, well, she said still looking for it.
Oh, she doesn't have a building? No, then no, do not.
My question is, should we secure a shared space address?
I would recommend that. If you were my client and you come to me with that situation, I would have you go through the steps that we're covering on this webinar, because you don't have a building yet. This is something that you already have in your business plan, and you know that you're looking for it, but when you get the building, that's fine. Then whatever virtual office you're using or share space, then you change it. Remember I said that as long as you have, when you're purchasing a building, this is equity for the business. So it's a big asset. So it's fine, because the lender, the minute the lender see, or whoever you're sticking credit with, the minute they see that you have an asset, a lot of things get overlooked. Because they just want to see the equity on their money.
Okay, we have a question from Yasmin. Yasmin asks, should I get a PO box if I am a home-based online business?
No. It's one of the red flags. Let me see if I can go back there. It's one of the red flags. Do not use a personal mailbox. PO boxes are not, that is a big red flag.
So then a follow-up to that from Drea then. Drea's question here says the UPS store offers a street address as an option. Is this still not a good option for virtual office? Not a good option.
Let me tell you, I even have a way of finding out if you're using the UPS address. All you got to do is go on Google Earth, and lenders have a way. They have guidelines that they follow to check all these things. There is no way about it. There's no way out. The reason I recommend share space and incubators and or Regis or many other offices, group offices that allow you to use the service so you can have a professional profile, is because it's the only way around. Do not use a PO box number. You couldn't use a PO box number to register your business in the first place with the state or local authorities. And the reason is because they don't see it as something solid. They see it that you can just go ahead and move at any time. So stay away. As a home-based business, I tell you, one of the operations I run very successfully for 15 years, and I'm talking with sales revenue sometimes in the 6 digits and 7 digits. You need to, it doesn't matter if it's a home-based business, it could be very successful, but you still, and have a great cash flow, but you still need to have a physical address. This is the reason why the state does not allow you even to use if the state doesn't allow you to use it, don't use it for any other thing. So UPS, post office mailbox, they're no-nos. Priscilla?
Okay. I don't see any other. Yasmin, I'm following up with your question. Yes, you will be getting a copy of the slideshow. It will be mailed out along with a video replay of today's webinar. So everyone will get this. Another question asked, she says, Yasmin asks, can you get mail sent to a virtual address?
Yes. Depends on the package that you purchase from them. It comes with mail, it comes with telephone, it comes whatever you want, it's what they offer you. So you can check all of their packages online. You can go ahead and start shopping for that.
Yeah, I've used that service, Yasmin. So sometimes you can pick up your mail yourself, or they charge you a fee to forward the mail once they receive it. Just so you know, you can have them send.
I suggest that you use something closer to your home so you can just pick it up. It's less expensive.
Innocent, can we have a short talk after this webinar? Innocent, you'll have to, I think it might be up to Carmen, but you would probably need to schedule a one-on-one. Carmen, yeah. I don't know what your schedule looks like. She's asking to speak with
you on the system, and then I'll send her an email just because today I'm completely, I'm tied up today.
Yes. Can't. So if you do, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to schedule a one-on-one with Carmen to discuss your situation regarding to business credit, please visit our website at www.rnsbdc.com. RN for Rutgers-Newark, SBDC.com.
You have the slide with the phone number and the email in the
no, website. I thought it was, no, I didn't. I'll pull it up. Give me 1 minute. I'll pull it up here.
Pull up the slide. People can just write it and go on right now and just you can fill out a request of counseling, and then a counselor, someone will get right back to you.
So there's our contact information. You can reach out to us. We are not at the office. We're all working from home. So you can reach out to us via the email or our website, www.rnsbdc.com, to schedule a one-on-one with a counselor. If it's in regards to today's webinar, there's an option where you can type what you need help with. You can put credit counseling or business credit so that we know that's the specific assistance you're looking for. Do we have any other questions? Karen asks, will the speaker offer her LinkedIn information or website?
You can go to my LinkedIn. Carmen Morris, you type it, you'll see me. My website is carmenlmorris.com.
Karen, you can visit our website at www.rnsbdc.com. On the About tab, we have a list of all our consultants here at Rutgers-Newark SBDC. Any contact information you need to find will be there.
You can also email me, but you know what? I suggest that you just go ahead and fill out the request of counseling, and then we can just go ahead. I'll contact you within 28 to 48 hours.
Okay. Yeah, in a sense, she will reach out to you. You just need to fill out the request for counseling. I'll send over your information, and I'll just note on there that you have some concerns about time, and she'll try to fit you in as soon as possible, but you must, you have to put in an official request for counseling.
Yeah, Shella, if she sees that I don't contact her in 24 hours, she can call you directly at 353-5950. But I will contact, what is the person's name, Priscilla?
Her name is Innocent.
All right, I'll be on the lookout for it this afternoon. So,
Okay, do we have, I mean, we have some time, but if you have any other questions, please post. I'll do one last survey. If not, we'll end today's webinar. Wendy, you're welcome. Wendy commented this was valuable information. Thank you.
well, thank you. I invite all of you to attend the personal credit, which is also very important for you to have personal credit. See, one of the downfalls of small businesses is that is working capital. And I can tell you because I fell into it many years ago, in which I really needed a business loan and I had no business credit. So it's something that you should look into it and always have your business prepare in case you need that cash and you need that money to continue to operate your business. It's a point that every business come to. So don't feel bad if you say, okay, my business now I need to build this credit and I need my business, I need a business loan and now I don't know what to do. It's always doable. In the next 90 days, you can prepare yourself and just get it done. But one of the biggest problems small businesses face is working capital, cash flow. It is extremely, extremely important that you always be prepared with that. So are there any more questions, Priscilla?
I don't see any more, so I guess we'll be closing today's webinar. Let me do just one last survey. Okay. So we don't have any other questions. So Carmen, I would like to thank you for taking the time out today to present us this valuable presentation on business credit. And to the participants, we thank you for tuning in and joining us today. Again, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. The information is on the screen. You will be receiving the PowerPoint presentation along with the replay of the video. Please allow us 24 to 48 business hours for that to get out to you. And if you have any other questions, just reach out to us. Thank you again for joining us. Have yourself a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.